What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to an episode of WNN, your source for the music and music production news. You may say, Weaver, why are you wearing those horrifying glasses? I think they look cool, and it's not because I might be sick and my daughter might have given me pink eye. It's definitely not that. Today we'll be talking about Ableton Live 12 being released, James Blake AI rant, pretty big stuff there, and Daniel X beautiful Spotify football analogy. Stay tuned. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Ableton Live 12 is finally out after a million years of beta testing. They've added a decent amount of features, but it basically just caught them up to several other DAWs. But if you're a big fan of Ableton, you'll definitely want this one. They've added quite a few MIDI composition tools, helping you generate melodies, chords, rhythms. You can reshape MIDI patterns. You can now work with alternate tunings within Live's devices and MPE capable plugins. They've made the modulation more flexible. So as you can tell here, a lot of quality of life improvements. I would say for the most part, there's a few things I'm not a big fan of. They've added a few new devices, one of which is named Meld. It is a MPE bitambrel macro oscillator synth. It has a pretty interesting modulation matrix. I'm not super blown away by it, but pretty much any stock DAW device doesn't really blow me away. It is capable of subtractive, FM, granular, as well as other sources. You can even quantize the oscillators to a scale. They've added a new 3-stage distortion unit. It is capable from everything to coloring, saturation, and what they put as wild distortion. It's capable of serial, parallel, mid-side, multiband. It's got a built-in compressor. They've added Granulator 3, which is an updated version of what was previously a Max for Live device. So a little bit disappointing on that front, but they've added MPE functionality and real-time audio capture, as well as other things. They've made some UI improvements, some of which I'm a fan of, some of which I'm not such a big fan of. A lot of people like this, the combination of the arrangement and session view if you wish. Personally, it gives me a panic attack. I don't like it. The new browser section is interesting. I'm not a big fan of the tag section. It really makes it feel overwhelming and cluttered, but once again, you can hide it. It is definitely more capable at searching. There's a few things that I really like, one of which is a sound similarity search. So you can find sounds with similar characteristics to what you have currently. You can also swap out samples in the drum rack with it. So it makes it incredibly fast to find new drums with a similar sound. It is $99 for the intro version, $439 for the standard version, $749 for the suite, and you have to see the upgrade pricing for yourself on their website. A little bit expensive, obviously, but that's Ableton. It's expensive. In our most important news of the day, we have DJ KHALED getting carried. He must be injured or something.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
You want to get in the back?
Can't mess up the chains. I'll perform.
Sir, I see sand right now. What do you think is going to happen? Are people just going to carry you around for the rest of your life?
I'm live right now, right here on Miami Beach, South Beach. Shout out to Dave Brutman. We about to light the whole stage up.
How does DJ KHALED perform live? Wrong answers only, guys.
You feel nice?
I don't know if I'd feel particularly nice if I had people carry me so I didn't get my shoes dirty. I would probably feel like a giant baby. You know, DJ KHALED just getting carried everywhere, constantly, by other artists, producers, security guards, you name it. The people seeing this must be so confused right now that are, for some reason, waiting there for him to perform, whatever that entails. Hopefully he's playing the guitar. That's what I hope. Honestly, the audience would be getting what they deserve then. But is this man not able to afford new shoes? Anyways, you know what this reminds me of, right?
I'm gonna take a nap.
James Blake has some interesting thoughts on the TikTokification of music. Remember when my Godspeed cover went viral? Neither me or Frank Ocean ever made a cent because it was an original sound in every video. Most people didn't even know it was me because my name didn't show up. Next time your favorite goes viral, remember they aren't making shit off of that. The industry is beyond and musicians are getting harder than anyone.
I'm suggesting we round them all up, pull down their pants, and them until their spirits leave their bodies.
It is changing the way a lot of people are making music. A lot of music only goes viral because it has something weird or gimmicky about it. There's definitely a lack of accountability when it comes to labeling songs on TikTok and Instagram. Basically, anybody can put a song in their TikTok or Reel and not label it, and nobody gets paid for it. There's definitely something wrong with the fact that you can't just make good music anymore. You have to learn how to market exceptionally well, and that involves doing social media exceptionally well. And the fact that you have to be so good at social media causes people to create shortcuts where they are doing gimmicks in order to get attention, and it's just making it a race to the bottom, essentially. Something I keep seeing is if you're lucky enough to go viral, just use exposure to generate income some other way. Musicians should be able to generate income via their music. We're basically getting paid in exposure at this point. We're having to work for exposure on top of making music, and quite often the music doesn't make any money. It's just made it, realistically, it's made it harder. If we want quality music, somebody's gonna have to pay for it. Streaming services don't pay properly, labels want a bigger cut than ever, and just sit and wait for you to go viral. TikTok doesn't pay properly, and touring is getting prohibitively expensive for most artists. The brainwashing worked, and now people think music is free. I feel like it's been that way for a while, but it's only gotten worse and worse. It's happened little by little over time. Essentially, it started with P2P sharing, things such as Napster. In a lot of ways, that was a good thing, just like there's some good things about TikTok, Spotify, etc., but it comes with a lot of bad things. It was good to take the power away from major labels, but it also created a system where people think that music should or could be free, and because of that, it's just lowered the value of it a lot. Skip ahead quite a few years, now we have the stream of a song being worth 0.003. Then we have TikTok trying to do gimmicks in order to make music that stands out and get some attention. Meanwhile, the cost of living is getting higher, money is inflating, and it's making it harder for people to tour. The chopped and screwed, sped up and slowed multiple versions thing isn't great, but the effect of TikTok/Reels on the core songwriting and arranging of music, the attention deficit of listeners and of us musicians, the immediately available metrics for labels and musicians, the fact we have to be great at social media but not really need to be great at music, the working of songs now means posting infinite videos with the same clip of the same song, the fact that then fans only know one moment of one song, and for the rest of the set, just stand there, not reacting, because why would they? They don't know it. There's definitely something wrong with the system, but I don't see it changing. The only people who are willing to change it would be either all musicians would have to stick together and then not use TikTok, which not going to happen because major labels will just break that, or all listeners are going to have to stop consuming music through these platforms. If they stop enabling it and actually pay for music what they think it is worth, then we can actually change this broken system. Okay, so we recently got an interesting statement from Daniel Ek, the big brain man himself at Spotify. He's a big brain man. He was quoted as saying, "Football is played by millions of people, but there's a very small number that can live off playing it full time." And this was in response to Spotify paying low royalties. On one hand, he has a point. On another hand, they control the royalty payments. They control the system. They have the power to change it. It really just feels like a cop-out to explain why we can't give you money.
A week ago, Spotify announced that we've now paid out more than $9 billion to the music industry in 2023.
The amount of streams that is a number we can't even comprehend.
Spotify can say, on the one hand, that we are paying out more and more back to the music industry. The music industry is growing. More artists are benefiting from it. But yet, anecdotally, you're hearing from artists how they are unhappy about the payouts they're getting from streaming. How could those two things be true?
That's not mutually exclusive, unless I'm wrong and I misunderstood this here.
Well, the paradox is they can be true at the same time. It is
Okay.
It's true that Spotify is paying out more and more each year. And it is also equally true that more artists than ever is benefiting from that payouts. So there are more and more artists that can live off of music, which is amazing. But at the same time, that more and more artists are trying to make it in music. So how should we think about this? Well, the best analogy that I would have is that the music industry is a very, very difficult industry to make it in.
It definitely is. I wouldn't really compare it to professional sports, though. I feel like there's a lot more nuance to music than professional sports. I mean, I just feel like there's a lot more genres. You can invent a genre. Like, there's going independent, completely independent. It seems like a kind of a simplified analogy.
Like professional sports. So if you take football, it's played by hundreds of millions of people around the world. But yet there's a very, very small number of people that can live off of playing soccer full time. FIFA tells us that there's about 100,000 people that can make it in football or soccer right now professionally, out of hundreds of millions of people that are trying.
That seems like a lot. That seems kind of high. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, like, really? That many people are making a living off of soccer? Are we just talking about strictly players?
In the music industry, there's obviously hundreds of millions of people who are playing some kind of instrument or singing or playing music. And there's probably tens of millions of people who are trying to make it in the music industry. And there's more than 100,000 people that can live off of music. It's probably many hundreds of thousands, but it's not many millions. So on a percentage basis,
Actually, after hearing this take, I mean, maybe, maybe. Okay, I'm hearing him out a little bit here. I never thought I'd agree with this guy.
So again, that doesn't mean, of course, that all of these things with Spotify or the payouts systems are where we'd like it to be. We are striving each and every day to make Spotify better for more and more artists and to make the system work for more and more people. And
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cap. I feel kind of bad about making fun of his head. I don't know. At least him talking, that was kind of relatable. I really feel like music tech does him dirty with this picture here. This has to be edited. Either he lost a lot of weight in his neck, or they purposely choose this picture, which reminds me of this BoJack Horseman sneezing picture. They always use it in press pictures of him. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, if you haven't noticed, I'm splitting up the stories. It was kind of hard to brand them when there's 20 stories, essentially. That's kind of the problem. If you want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member. I post exclusive content for anyone at the $5 tier or higher. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.